So this is my Macintosh. It's a 2FX, as you can see there. And we're going to be looking at this as well as this fun thing right here. The IBM 8226, which is a token ring adapter. I'll also show off here the SCSI external hard drive that I have, as well as my old world 2-unit rack server, which is a thing I put together to actually service the Mac here. This thing right here is Pro Tools audio interface, which is 4-channel I/O. This is basically a sound card, and it goes together with a card inside the Mac. So on the Macintosh side, the 2FX was released in like 1990. It was the fastest Mac II, and really the fastest Mac ever at the time, until 1 year later when it was replaced by something significantly faster, which is what's typically happened back in those days. We go around the back here, take a look. We got a couple of cards in there, as well as something special over there. So I'm going to take the covers off, and we're going to just take a look at the Mac. I'm not going to go into full detail about it, because the main topic of this video is actually token ring, which is very cool and way better than Ethernet, as everyone knows. The Mac II is pretty easy to take apart. There's normally a screw back here, but I don't keep that installed. So we just do this. There's little push things here on each side. And here we can see the Mac II internals. Let's see here. What you got here, dual floppies, hard drive would typically go here. This is a SCSI to SD. And then in terms of cards here, we have a the audio card. Let's see, that's a Spectrum 24, a Rasterops Paintboard Lightning, and this here is a token ring card. And then over here, this is Ethernet adapters. This is not currently in use. Basically what it does is, this is an AUI interface going to the D sub you saw on the back earlier. Then this is an AUI adapter, which gives you 10 megabit standard Ethernet, and then this thing here is a fiber optic media converter. Most of these cards already have their own detailed blog posts, so I don't think I'm gonna sort of take them out and actually look too carefully at them now. I think I said we're going to look at using these. The token ring card here is detailed in the token ring post, but this here is the IBM token ring chipset and its own ROM, and then the rest of this is a 68,000 microprocessor, which runs a dedicated real-time OS called A-Rose, which sort of performs several acceleration features. I also have, I can get it, this is what I used originally. This will probably get its own post at some point. This is the Ethernet NB card. This has an AAUI port here for 10 megabits, and this also has the 68,000 and the ROM, and then a new bus interface. I've got the monitors over there. Kind of messy. But I got dual monitors on this thing, dual matched monitors even. I also have this Dell here. So I'm thinking we'll just put the covers back on and then power it up, and I'll show you this thing operating. You just hit the power button. We got the first generation Apple extended keyboard here. And then that's the paint board. Now it'll start up with this thing as the primary display. And you see I got the BMOV ROM cart installed, which is very convenient because it means you basically don't need boot floppies. And then it'll start up and then it'll switch over because this is actually the primary display, and we'll get into why that is, because this is the raster offset you saw. The other one's the Spectrum 24. And at the bottom you got speed doubler and then a bunch of networking stuff. I think that's Apple scripts. And now it's, I believe that's mounting the network drive. The network drive is on the Old World server. These monitors, incidentally, are Multic or Multi-Q MQ215s. They're 1024 by 768 15-inch CCFL backlights. Nothing like amazing or anything. So you can see now we've got a couple of different things here on the desktop. We're running 1024 by 768 full color. I don't know if the focus is good here. I think so. You can see we have 128 megs of RAM here, and acceleration is on. That's pretty good. And then this over here is the Old World file share that popped up on the other screen here. There. Network share that's running off an SSD in the server, and that's now running over Token Ring, which is obviously the superior local networking standard. So we can, like, do a bunch of stuff here, and network drives on classic macOS are actually pretty good. The performance is not quite as good as a SCSI hard drive, but it's surprisingly usable. This startup time here for Photoshop is pretty long, but that's not really network drive. You'll see when it's getting into the network drive stuff. Let's see, it should be getting there any moment now. What's really cool is the Photoshop files that this thing produces. You can actually open them in Photoshop 2021. Which is just amazing that they have that level of backwards compatibility. You can probably hear in the background the fan on the Mac II is not particularly quiet, but this is actually running a Noctua 80mm fan. The original Panasonic was even louder, and it does actually need the airflow, so you can't run like a low airflow fan because you'll just overheat stuff and you'll run into issues. You see the time up in the corner if you want to jump back and see how long that took. But so I'm recording this actually on the new Pentax K3 Mark III, which is a brand new camera, and it's got stereo mics, but I think I'll mix it back to mono for export because I think I've been moving around the camera. But yeah, here we go. We've just loaded an image. Now the reason this thing took so long to load, if we just go into, say, image size here and take a look. I think this thing is pretty high resolution. It's 2048 by 1638, so that's a 2K export from Lightroom. This version of Photoshop can actually do PNG files in and out, which is very nice. You can see it takes a while. And up in the corner here, this is Disk Light. It's part of the Norton Utilities. But it's for some reason doing a lot of disk writing, probably like writing temp files. It's pretty usable. I've put some text on here as well, and some arrows. But if we just like go into, say, curves, I'm not sure if this has an adjusted gamma curve or not, but typically on a Mac everything looks a little too bright. That's too dark, but they use a different gamma curve on these old Macs, so pictures won't look the same on a Mac as they do on a modern Mac or a computer. So let's just quit that. close out of that. We can close that. You'll see I have 2 drives here, and these are actually running on the Raspberry Pi SCSI emulator, which is something I just recently got set up. So I've got 2 4GB drives here. 4 gigs is about the maximum you can do. We can also do telnet, so we can telnet into the Raspberry Pi SCSI emulator. You see I've even got domain name support here. And I can zoom in a bit on this. Get one guess at what the password for this thing is. So I guess not. We can like list the mounts here. So this is storage 1, storage 2, and those are actual files on the SD card. The reason the Spectrum card is not currently being used as the primary one, if we just go and pull up, I'm on the other monitor here. There we go, Super Video. It's a control panel. And we'll select this one, and we'll turn on acceleration. You'll see now it's fast. If I turn it back off, then you'll see if I move this thing, it has to redraw. And you can see how long it takes to update the display. It's really slow. If I turn on the accelerator here, it becomes fast. Now the issue is, and it seems to be a compatibility issue with the token ring card. If I do this, then it's pretty likely, yeah, there you go. It just kind of glitches out. Now, I mean, it's never crashed the computer or anything, but this is not really desired behavior here. So it kind of trashes the display bitmap, and if you want the background back, you kind of just have to take a window and move it around like this, which kind of sucks. It can also get very confusing because like the window top here can be can sort of move up and down. So I think this is like a new bus issue. I think I saw some forum posts somewhere saying that removing A rows fixed this type of issue, but if I do that, then my network's going to be really slow, so I don't want to do that. Anyway, we can get rid of that. Take a look at the token ring stuff. So, it's opening up. There you go. You can see here, this is the token ring control panel. It's not that useful. If you click allow changes, you can change what link speed you want. And I guess if you had multiple cards, you could like set settings for all of them. You can also go into other settings here, and what you get is the I guess the MAC address, the token ring ID. I think this is unique, but you can like change it if you want, and then you also have like token ring timers, which I don't know. I don't really know why you'd want to change those. I guess if you wanted to like optimize your network for certain types of traffic, you might do that. For TCP/IP, this is running Open Transport version 1.3. So here you go. I've got DHCP, but Open Transport can really only get an IP address, it seems, so you have to set the rest of this up manually. And then if we click info here, you can see that it's actually found the router. And the token ring card is kind of weird because it's you need software to link up a token ring or to do a ring insertion, as it's known. You can also go into Apple Talk here, and you see I've got an Apple Talk zone set up, which is the token ring subnet. Let's see here. We can also pull up ping, and on a Mac you have to get a program called Mac TCP ping if you want ping. You can just ping the server here. Now the time is 0, but the actual time is 6 milliseconds. This is a pretty good test because if you don't have an IP address, this thing won't load properly. You can also go on the internet. Let's see if we have anything interesting to pull up. I'm using iCab right now. You get the nice moire effect there from the low resolution display. Let's see. You can go to the Raspberry Pi SCSI control panel, for example. This has a web interface, and you can see I've got a domain name for that as well. And here we go. You can see I've got SCSI ID 4 and 5 is mounted with 2 images, and then you have image management, and this is all running through Web 1 proxy as well, so that's kind of complicated. Let's see, is there anything here that we can pull up? I mean, we can do 68k.news. And the performance, obviously, is extremely good for Token Ring. Takes a while. It's not the fastest computer. I mean, it's a 30-year-old computer. So this kind of dates the thing here. We got a bunch of stuff going on in the world. Yeah, I'm a little annoyed with this with the Spectrum card here, that the acceleration doesn't work, because I was going to use it as a primary monitor. You can see I've still got some glitching up here, which is not great. Well, that's Token Ring. We can pull up the server, I guess, VNC. And this might not work the first try. I've never tried this on Token Ring, actually. Okay, I guess that's broken. So you don't need VNC because you have Token Ring, and that's really awesome. Could try using the proper. No. Okay, apparently not. We're not doing that. We can do a file transfer test, I guess. I've got a bunch of music files here, and I guess we'll do like Autobahn. This is stuff I can use with you can see the Pro Tools down in the corner here, but it's a good test just to check performance. So if I do this, and then yeah, I'll pop up. I've got ConnectX Speed Copy version 2 installed, and you can see here it's getting pretty good performance overall. It'll sort of build up speed as it goes along. The speed copy is good because it has a pause feature, and you can also actually background it and do other things while you're working. You see, we're getting up to almost 200 kilobytes per second here, which is it's not bad. And it gives you a time remaining as well, which is very good. I've seen this peak out at about 230. The disk speed is about 800k, so it is the network that's slowing us down. So we'll just stop that. We don't need that. Okay, so this is the back of the computer. You can see the Token Ring card. It's this bad boy right here. There's a green LED, which just means it's passed its self-test, and then you have 2 video outputs. And then there's a SCSI cable here, which is the audio interface. Here is a sort of custom AUI interface with 9 pins. That's a fiber optic gigabit connection. And this is a SCSI cable. This is desktop bus. You got 2 of those, and then you have 2 serial ports, one for a printer, one for a modem, and one of those can be used for AppleTalk. If we head down here, see, can I autofocus? Yes, can. So up here, this is the DigiDesign audio interface. This has its own blog post. There's a SCSI cable going through it. That is the Raspberry Pi SCSI emulator. And then there's a fiber media converter in the middle there. There's a network cable here running into, this is the server. This is kind of a hack job, but it's a 2-unit server with a full ATX motherboard inside it. And I'm still waiting on a bunch of blanking plates, so I've just got like tape here to control the airflow and such. There's a video card here. These are low profile cards. They just about fit inside a 2-unit thing. And there's a dual gigabit Ethernet card right here. And then the token ring card, a low profile PCI token ring card, is right here. And then that has a network cable that runs up to the IBM 8226 media, multi-station access unit, the MAU. This has 8 ports here, and then these are ring in, ring out ports, and you might be able to read that. It's not the clearest thing in the world. RIRO, so you can daisy chain these or build a full ring with redundancy to another one. You might also connect this to like a router or something. And then there's one cable, see, the black one here runs up and into this media filter. The media filter is an imaging transformer with DC pass-through. I have noticed, incidentally, that basically every computer I get ends up turning into something the size of a mini computer from the 1980s. I could just move this roughly back into place here. There's the MAU again, and there's the SCSI emulator, which has the nice little OLED. This is in a Hammond enclosure that I just machined. You can get the Raspberry Pi SCSI emulator from the Tindy store, and it's a 68K MLA project. Close up here of the server here. I've just got a red ring light as a power button and indicator, and this is like a 2-meter paint job. It probably looks terrible on the video. I've got this spare token ring here. And yeah, this cable management is not final. It looks like shit. But I've got this thing, and I have a Pentium II. So why don't we try that one? Okay. This is an old CNET computer. These were very popular in Norway with businesses and stuff. It's a Pentium II. This used to run Windows NT. It's now running Windows 2000 with like a little SSD thing. It's got a bunch of cards installed. It's got a 9200 SE AGP, which is kind of overkill, but I used to have this card back in the day, so it's kind of nostalgic. Crappy PCI video audio card. The glorious token ring card. This one's nice because it has BNC, AUI, and RJ45s. And then at the bottom there we have a USB 2 controller. It actually does have USB 2 up here as well. And you can use like this kind of crappy wireless Logitech stuff. Actually works without drivers. So it's new enough for that. The old power supply said pop, so I put in a new one. It seems to work fine. Just plugs in. Nope. Plugs in there. And then I need power, obviously. And let's see here. I should have a video cable as well. I can never get these the right way around. And then this display should light up. But that's not going to do much. What we should see now, it's doing its thing. There we go. It's inserted. And if we look down here, we have a green light. That click you heard is the actual mechanical relays inserting into the ring. Okay, so we're started up. And we've gone to network connections. We should have a token ring card. It's usually a bit faster than this. You can see nothing here, but the token ring card is linked up, which means that something's working. But we do have the tokenery adapter installed here, and you have a couple of settings here. So you can say if you want full duplex, if you want the speed to be auto, because these can run at 4 or 16 megabits. And here it is, and you see it's connected, 16 megabits, and it should be auto IPing. And this just popped up by default, so I haven't installed any drivers yet. If we take a look here, this is the official driver disk, and this came with the low profile card, but the card I've got in here, the non-low profile, it's the same generation, so it should work. So I'll just pop that in the drive. I don't think it auto starts, and then we use Opera, obviously. Smooth scrolling here. So these are links to the thing on the internet, but that doesn't work because our internet's broken. But we go into here, this is the one we have, and you can get, they have copies of the manuals, which are nice. You can get these online today if you want to. And I've actually got a dump of this this CD up on the blog post about tokenery cards. But if you look here, we want device drivers. We'll try that, and let's see, Windows 2000, that's the one, and we just want to run that. Apparently this, okay, all. Let's just save it to, yeah, my documents, that's fine. Almost typing ls there, but that doesn't work. Okay. Okay, that just dumped a bunch of files in my documents. That's always fun, completely useless. Okay, well, if we just try to do a manual, let's see, we have a driver here from 1999. We should be able to update that. I don't have a floppy, but OEM setup maybe. PCI 16.4 management adapter. I think that's the one. Something happened at least. Kind of frozen there. While that's going on here, let's see. We do have as well the troubleshooting utility, which is not that bad. Let's save that to the desktop. So the driver thing's going on, doing its thing. Desktop. TR shoot. It's trying. Well, it's running. Got a couple of copies of these things. Well, it's trying. So I'm gonna mess around with this a bit and then see if we can get this driver updated or something. Something's happening. I just rebooted. Let's see. That's not gonna work. That server doesn't exist anymore that I was trying to reach there. I don't think we've actually installed a new driver yet. I also got NTP on it. Let's see. Aha! Now this looks better. Yeah, I did install the driver. This looks way better. Okay, let's install the Troubleshooter, because it's kind of a neat utility. Now, we have some settings here, but we don't need to worry about them because we're not using this as like a server or anything. It's taking a while, which is usually a good sign. No, we're still at 0. It's got expert mode, obviously. Another reboot, will that help? Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere. So what we can do is we can make a diagnostic diskette. I'm going to try that. I haven't tried that before. Okay, let's see if it'll do floppy boot. Yes. PC-DOS, because it's IBM, of course it's PC-DOS. I'm not going to include. Let's see what happens. You don't have a mouse. Okay, it's already plugged in. Let's do enter and start test. It inserted, and you can see the little ISA card there filling up. I guess that's a progress bar. Well, that confirms the hardware is working at least. Okay, I'm not having much luck with this Windows 2000 Pentium II computer. It's... I think there's something, either something's messed up with the install, or there's a hardware issue that's cropped up since the last time I used it. Because basically I can't get any form of networking to work. The built-in, or the 3COM that was already in there, tried to switch over to that just to like see if networking worked at all, and no, it didn't. Issue I had with VNC appears to have resolved itself. VNC is a bit unreliable in terms of connecting initially, but it does generally work. This is high security, but it does work. And now we're connected to the server, the rack mount server. That's also our file sharing stuff. And you can see here we go. We also have an anonymous FTP on this server running an old copy of FileZilla. But yeah, I mean this is pretty good. You see we got the nice background here. So if we go to run, and you know we can do some gaming. I am a gamer, obviously. Boom. Okay, enough of that. Redrawing the screen takes a long time. So yeah, I think that's about it on the token ring side. It works as long as your computer works. For some reason Discovery here is not working, but that issue was there before I switched over to token ring anyway. I might have to like just reinstall the Pentium II computer because it's just not working. There's clearly something wrong here beyond just I don't think it's the PCI card is at fault. It just seems weird that I would have 3 different network cards all fail, or actually 4 different cards all fail at the same time. So something's wrong here. But yeah, that's it. I might do another video about this later, and I might also do another video about the DigiDesign Pro Tools stuff, because that's kind of cool. But for now, I'm gonna shut down.